Hello everybody, welcome back to the 7th video in this course. In this video we are going to have a quick look on how to add some color variation to our design. First thing first, I'm going to make sure all my layers are as properly named as possible, to make sure that I can continue knowing that I can simply go back and forth in my layers without having to look deeply and carefully. What I first want to do is group all my folders, and I'm gonna call this folder Art Separated, simply meaning that in this folder all my art will be separated. After this, I'm going to make a copy of my layer. Depending on how many layers you have, this might take a while. After I've done this, I'm going to merge this layer. See this as this will be the layer of my original design, and I'm going to keep this as big as possible. What I want to attempt is to have one larger version and two smaller versions, and those smaller versions will be my color variation. I want to keep the first one as big as possible to indicate that this was my original choice. Now there are various ways some people might do it. As you see here, if I press Ctrl U on my merged image and I try to change the color, it will change everything at the same time. But this is not what we want. We only want to adjust our color, not our shadow, not our light, not our rim light, not our occlusion shadows, only the main color of the image. So I make a copy of my entire folder, and I decrease the size so that I can put it right next to my main design. Depending on how you have your layers set up, it might take a moment. Maybe if you have too many layers, it might take some time to resize it, as you see me do here. However, after I'm relatively happy with the size and the placement, I'm going to think about what colors I want to give this character. To do this, I'm going to go to my color folder. In this case, the folder is called Colors Copy. Of course, it copies every single layer, and even though I named my layers, for example, green for the outfit, I press Ctrl U on it and I start playing around with the hue. What color do you think should work best on your image? For me, I want to go with a classic red outfit, the one that you see in various Zelda games. This outfit typically is used to venture into the hotter areas like volcanoes, lava areas. However, if I change the color of my outfit, I should also balance it out with changing the color of the eyes, for example. In this case, we have yellow hair, a red outfit, a red post bag. So I want the eye color to be blue, so that it bounces off and that it's more visible for the viewer. Remember that the eyes are one of the first things people look at. When I'm happy with it, I'm making another copy and I'm gonna move this one underneath it. Of course, we want to give this one a different color. But instead of starting with the outfit, I want to start with the hair. So let's go into this color folder and look for the hair color. And just start playing around with a hair that you like. Now remember, because this is on a separate layer, we can change it in whatever color we want until we find the color that we are happy with. I do the same with the outfit. What color can I choose to balance off against the new hair color? Perhaps yellow. Blue hair and a yellow outfit, maybe this will be a very good choice to make. Of course, don't forget to adjust the sleeves. It is important that those smaller details are complementing the entire outfit. I have a moment to look at the boots. Do I want the boots to be a similar color to the hair and the sleeves, or would it be a better idea to match the boots to the color of the outfit? This is a design choice you need to make for your character as well. What balance can I find in my colors while I make my variation? For example, now we have a green, red and a yellow outfit. To be fair, I am not entirely happy with the color of my yellow outfit. I think it must be different. I think having 2 yellow hairs and then a yellow outfit, it doesn't work. So I'm going back and change the hair color. What if I make the hair color nice and pink? And what if I make the color of my outfit let's see. Now nothing red, what about blue? I like blue. I think this blue looks nice. It's much different from the rest. We can also do that with the pose bag. Let's change the color of the pose bag as well, so that it matches the outfit. What about something green? Blue, green, and then a sharp purple for the hair. And then the eye color, let's make the eye color a very, yellow. I think this looks nice. There. And just with a few clicks, we have already made some really nice color variations. Before you continue, pause the video and make sure that you change the colors on your design. Don't forget to name your folders properly so that you can have an easier time if you ever need to go back. To continue, let's start looking at the background. If I activate my background layer, I only want to have the background, not the rest. I make a new layer on top after naming my background layer BG for background, and I'm gonna call this layer box. What I want to do is create a little box-like area behind my character. Now there are various ways to do this. You can use the lasso tool, you can use texture brushes. I'm going to use my main design brush and just gonna give it a little smudge behind the character, just to separate it from the background. I tried to do this with all my characters. Now keep in mind that the background should be much darker than your characters. This will also make it easier for you to stand out those boxes. Now we don't have to make anything super perfect with this, but I'm going to give it a slight blur so that it's not as sharp-edged as my characters. After that, I lower the opacity. Make a new layer above it and call this bright light. Put your color to white and with a soft brush, very gently smudged in a bright light behind our character. This will help push our character forward, making it easier for the viewer to see our character and our very nice color variations. And with that, we are done. I hope yours came out fantastically as well. I hope you're happy. And I see you in the next video where we give the final details to our character.